Happy Wednesday and welcome to Rock on Air.
Well, hey guys, welcome back to Rock on Air. It's May the 6th, 2020. Feels like we've been doing this forever. We can't wait to get back on campus with you. But until then, hopefully Rock on Air is helpful for you right now. Go grab your dad, your mom, your grandfather, your grandmother, your brother, your sister, your dog, your goldfish. Go get whoever's in your house. Get them around the computer, get them around the TV, and let's worship together tonight. Last week we started a segment where we're spotlighting our 2020 seniors, and tonight we're going to continue to do that. So before we begin in worship, you guys check it out. All right, well, tonight we want to continue our interview series, I guess, if you will, with our seniors. And tonight we are excited to have Matt Billingsley here with us. And so, Matt, we want to ask you some questions. We are excited to hear your responses. The first question is, which is evident again by your shirt, where are you going to school?
I plan on attending Mississippi State in the fall.
Okay, and you're majoring in?
I'm undecided right now, but I'm just going to figure it out as I go.
Yeah, no, that's great. So has there, like growing up, can you think of a thing, like this is what I want to do when I'm older?
Not
Not
necessarily.
really, yeah.
I've kind of been back and forth on a lot of stuff, especially recently. But
Yeah. I mean, professional golf could be, maybe,
I
right?
wish. I wish.
No, that's cool. I've been here almost 5 years, and I've gotten to know you over that time. And, that, I guess so far we've been talking about kind of what your future is, really kind of a narrow picture, thinking about, college and stuff. But thinking back over your time as a student here, as part of student ministry at Calvary, there's a lot of memories I'm sure you have, the different things you've been involved in. But if you could pick like one favorite memory, what do you think that would be?
I would have to say Mission Fuge.
Yes.
Sophomore year.
Yeah.
That was fun. Got a chance to, hang out. And
Yeah. Where did we go? Was that North Greenville? Was that South Carolina?
that was, was it Belhaven?
Oh, Belmont.
Belmont.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Up in Nashville, yeah. Yeah, that was a fun year, except they think very highly of the grass there. If you walk on the grass, you apparently get in trouble, but whatever.
Nice campus.
Yeah, it was a super nice campus, yeah. Well, that's cool. So what mission site? Do you remember what mission you did while we were there? Was it kids?
I believe
Yeah, I was thinking it was. I think most of our guys got kids, yeah. So, yeah, that's great, man. That was a fun year. That's a great campus, great location, so... Well, one thing that I've been asking, I guess we've only had one interview so far, but one of the things that I have asked so far and will continue asking is if there was like one piece of advice you could give to all the underclassmen, whether it was spiritual or not, related to school, related to family, future, whatever. If there's one thing that you could tell the people watching, what would you say?
I'd say just be as involved as you can in the youth, because there have been times where I wish I would have been a little bit more involved in church, and I just say that to the younger kids.
Oh, that's good. I like that. I think, obviously I like that because I am the youth minister here, but no, I think, church is important, and you guys are, even as young as like 7th grade, if you're watching here in 7th grade, you may be thinking, well, Matt's graduating high school, he's going off to college, so, it makes sense for him. But I think if you begin to build that, I think you're right. I think it's very important. So that's a great piece of advice. So you guys better take that piece of advice, right? So no. Well, Matt, man, thanks for being here. And we are super pumped for you and excited about you going to state. Are you playing golf anywhere? Are you trying to do that or just for fun?
Yeah, I plan on keep playing golf, but...
Yeah, okay. Well, we really are just super pumped for you and excited for you, and we're proud of what you have accomplished. We're excited to see how God uses you in the future, and I mean, you know that if you ever need anything, we're a phone call away, and we'll be checking in on you periodically to kind of see how you're doing. But we wanted to do this because your senior year has been so crazy and just not normal. We wanted to kind of highlight you guys and say, hey, we're proud of you. We're rooting for you. We're in your corner. If you ever need anything, we're here for you. So thanks for being here, Matt.
Thank you.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Hey guys, welcome back. We got a couple songs for you guys. Only King Forever and Yes I Will. So I hope you're staying safe and you're staying home, okay? So here we go.
fail me now in the waiting. is working all things out. You're working all things out. Yes, I will lift you high in the lowest valley. Yes, I will bless your name. Oh yes, I will sing for joy when my heart is heavy all my days. Oh yes, I will for all my days. Oh yes, I will. I count on one thing, same God that never fails will not fail me now. You won't fail me now in the waiting. Same God who's never late is working all things out. You're working all things out. Yes, I will lift you high in the lowest valley. Yes, I will bless your name. Oh yes, I will sing for joy when my heart is heavy all my days. Oh yes, I will, and I choose to praise, to glorify the name of all names. Nothing can stand against, and I choose to praise, to glorify the name of all names. Nothing can stand against. Yes, I will lift you high in the lowest valley. Yes, I will bless your name. Oh yes, I will sing for joy when my heart is heavy all my days. Oh yes, I will for all my days. Oh yes, I will for all my days. Oh yes, I will.
All right, well, thanks to Jack and Josie and Mari for leading us in worship once again. And hopefully you've been able to sing along, right there wherever you are, whether it's in your bedroom or it's in the living room or maybe even in the car, wherever you happen to be listening. I hope that you're able to worship with your family. This is a time for your family to worship together. And that as you do that, maybe even together you're growing spiritually and you're able to talk about some of the things that have been talked about here on Rock on Air. And we can't wait until we can get back to normal and we can see each other live and in person once again. But until we can do that, we will continue to bring on special guests as part of Rock on Air. This has been fun for us, and hopefully it's been fun for you as well. Tonight, as you've already seen, hopefully if you're following us on Instagram, you've already seen that this week's guest is actually two guests. We've been dropping clues all week long. The first clue that we dropped on Monday applied to both, and it is that their favorite restaurant for both of them is Pyro's, and why not? It's like Subway but for pizza, and it is delicious. The second clue that we dropped yesterday also applied to both. It is that they both love to travel, and they've had the opportunity to go to some pretty cool places. And then today we dropped a clue for each of them. For one of them, the clue is that they are an inventor of sorts, but do not currently quite have a patent on file. And for the other, it is that they love gymnastics. So if you've not already sent your guesses in, if you've not dropped those in our DMs on Instagram, if you've not sent me those in a text, if you've not already dropped it in YouTube, go ahead and do that right now. And to help you out, here's the bonus clue. The bonus clue is that tonight's guest duo actually consists of brother and sister. So who do you have? Who do you think it is? Well, if you guessed Will and Sadie Summerford, you would be exactly right. What's up, guys?
Hi.
It's good to have you here. I'm glad that you're able to be my guest this week.
Thank you.
They have been asking from the very beginning, when they first found out that we were going to be bringing special guests in for Rock on Air. They've been begging to be that special guest. And tonight it just happened to work out for that. And I'm excited for it. So, guys, last week we started a series that is called My Favorite Story. And Reagan's favorite story, who we had last week, was Jesus walking on water as I'm sorry, Peter, you're right. I've done that every time I've talked about this to anybody. When Peter walked on water, as he saw Jesus walking on water to them. And that was a pretty cool story. It was a fun conversation to have. So you guys have actually chosen the very same story as your favorite story. And what story is that?
Noah's Ark.
Noah's Ark? Yeah, Noah's Ark? Well, that is a great story, but I'm curious to know, why is Noah's Ark your favorite story?
Well, my favorite part is because that was God's first ever promise, and promises are a big thing in the world. You got, it could be a friend, you don't want to break that promise.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's hard to make that promise true. And you can't break a pinky.
That's right, you can't break a pinky promise. That's exactly right.
If you break the pinky promise, you break a lot.
That's true. Well, so, that was God's a promise that God made. And does God always keep His promises?
Yes, He never let them down.
Yeah.
He always kept His promises.
That's right, He did. So, Sadie, why is the story of Noah's Ark your favorite story?
Because He sent the rainbow to never flood the whole earth again.
Ooh, wow, that's exactly right. So that was His promise, right? To never flood the whole earth again. And again, did God keep that promise? He sure did. He sure did keep that promise. Well, tonight, what I want to do is I'm going to read part of that passage. And it starts in Genesis chapter 6, and it works through a couple of chapters. And for the sake of time, we're not going to read every single verse in those chapters. I'm going to begin in verse 9 of chapter 6. And I'm going to kind of skip around, but I'll let you know where we're going. I hope you've got a copy of God's Word right there in your hand. But if you don't, we will pop those verses up on the screen for you so you can follow along with us. So, you guys ready? All right, Genesis chapter 6. We're going to be starting in verse 9. And here's what it says. These are the family records of Noah. Noah was a righteous man, blameless among his contemporaries. Noah walked with God. And Noah fathered 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Now the earth was corrupt in God's sight, and the earth was filled with wickedness. God saw how corrupt the earth was, for every creature had corrupted its way on the earth. Then God said to Noah, I've decided to put an end to every creature, for the earth is filled with wickedness because of them. Therefore, I am going to destroy them along with the earth. Make yourself an ark of gopher wood. Make rooms in the ark and cover it with pitch inside and outside. And then God gives Noah all these specific directions about how he was supposed to build it. And so we're going to skip down to, and those are all important things. They're very specific. And Noah, it was very important that Noah followed them to the letter exactly as God told him to. And so we're not saying those are not important by skipping them, but skip down to verse 22 of chapter 6. It says, and Noah did this. He did everything that God had commanded him. Then, if we go down to chapter 7, verse 1, it says, Then the Lord said to Noah, Enter the ark, you and all your household, for I have seen that you alone are righteous before me in this generation. And so then he gives them some directions about the animals. And then chapter 7, verse 5 says, And Noah did everything that the Lord commanded him. Noah was 600 years old when the flood came and water covered the earth. And so Noah, his sons, his wife, and his sons' wives entered the ark because of the flood waters. From the clean animals, unclean animals, birds, and every creature that crawls on the ground, 2 of each, male and female, came to Noah and entered the ark just as God had commanded him. And 7 days later, the flood waters came on the earth. Now, you guys know the rest of the story pretty well, right? How long did it rain?
40 days and 40 nights.
40 days and 40 nights. That's exactly
40
right.
days and 40 nights.
That's right, yeah. And after God had made it clear to them that it was safe to come out of the ark, what was the very first thing that Noah's family did?
They worshiped God.
They worshiped God. That's exactly right. So they come off the ark, they build an altar right there, and they offer a sacrifice to God in worship to Him, and they're worshiping Him for His faithfulness. Right? So everything else on the earth that was not in the ark, the Bible tells us that it perished. It didn't make it. It died. But Noah survived because he did exactly what God told him to do, and that was to build an ark to very specific dimensions, to cover it in a very specific material that would water seal it.
Noah was good.
That's right, Noah was good, and that's a great point to make, Sadie. The Bible tells us that Noah was a righteous and a blameless man. Now, does that mean that he never sinned?
Yes, he did sin a little, but lots of times he listens to God's word. He even wrote some of the Bible, I think.
I'm not
or
sure.
Or did Moses write it?
Yeah, I'm not sure Noah did, buddy. But nice try. So, but you're right. Noah was a good man. Noah was a good man in that his life.
That's what I said.
Oh, that's what you said. That's right. Well, in his life, his effort was to honor God with what he did. He wanted to be obedient to God in everything that he did. And that's actually the two things, or the two statements that I want to center on tonight. It's actually the same phrase, the same meaning. It's just worded a little bit different. And it's found in chapter 6, verse 22, and chapter 7, verse 5. And it says that Noah did everything that God had commanded him to. Now, listen, I understand that it's not always easy to do what God has called you to do. I realize that there are times where being obedient to God is not an easy thing. I know that because I've been in your shoes before, maybe not in the exact situation, but in similar situations. It is not always easy. We just finished the series that was titled Uncommon, as we talked through, not Uncommon, I'm sorry, that was 2 years ago, but Unashamed, as we talked through the book of Acts. And I recognize that it's not always easy to be obedient, to be evangelistic in our efforts. It's not always easy to make sure that we're telling people about Jesus, that they might come to know Him, that they might become a disciple who then makes disciples. I realize that. I realize that there are times in life when, yes, God has called us to love people, and sometimes it's very difficult to love people. Sometimes people are impatient, and sometimes they're angry, and sometimes they're unkind. I get that. I understand that the people that you encounter are not always easy to get along with. And we have the opportunity in this moment to continue to be obedient to God, to continue to be faithful to do what He's called us to do, even in the middle of all this coronavirus quarantine stuff, just as Noah did. Can you guys scoot over that way just a little bit? I just don't want you to fall off,
And
okay?
Sadie, can you please
Scoot over right
get away
there.
from me?
There we go. We got to make sure they're safe. We can't have them falling off the little bench there and knocking their heads open, because we definitely don't want to go to the ER right now. But anyway, so I understand that it's not easy for you to always be obedient to God. But I am saying tonight that our call, our responsibility, is to be obedient anytime and every time, regardless of what God has called us to do. So, Will and Sadie, is it always easy to obey your parents?
It is not. But sometimes it is. Like if they say, don't go near there, and there's nothing wrong there, you're just like, how? That's hard because there's lots of fun things over there.
Yeah.
You
Well,
just want to.
That's right. And you know what, Will? That's a really good point to make, because sometimes as a kid, it's not easy to see the potential dangers that are there. If we tell you not to go somewhere, we might be able to see a big giant snake over there just waiting to bite you. But if you can't see it, you're not going to understand why. Dad, why are you telling me not to go over there? It's fine. Look at all the fun that I could have over there. But what we know is that we can see the danger that is there.
Because you're taller.
Well, that's part of it, yes.
Yeah, because you have better eyesight.
Well, I don't know about that. I have pretty terrible eyesight. But that's really not the point. That's just an illustration. That's just a picture that we can see in our minds. The point is that God sees everything and God knows everything. And sometimes the reason that He tells us not to do something...
And God knows what to do.
That's right. God does know what to do. And sometimes the reason that He tells us not to do something, when His Word says, don't do this, and quite frankly, more of what Scripture is about what God is telling us to do as followers of Jesus. But the reason that God tells us not to do certain things is because God sees everything, and He knows that it is better for us if we're obedient to Him. So, Will, I think that's a great point that you brought out there, that sometimes it looks like there's so much fun over here that we can be doing, and what we have to remember is that God sees everything, and God has our best interest in mind, and everything that we do in life should be in obedience to Him, because we can know that God has the things that He calls us to do, and the things that we find ourselves in are for our good and for His glory.
Like, if your mom and dad says, don't go near that tiny fire that's really tiny, just like a mouse, and you go over there. No, you just say, it looks fine. We can go over there. Yeah, and there's lots of fun over there. You don't see the fire.
Yeah.
But and then maybe it's a growing fire, it grows big, and then it blocks your path behind you, in front of you, and to the side.
And you know what? That's actually another really good point, because Sadie, what we might see is just a little bitty fire. Oh, it's not really that big a deal. And what can happen is that one little sin can grow into something much bigger. Hold on. It can grow into something much bigger and much more dangerous. Hold on. Let me finish, okay? It can grow into something much bigger and much more dangerous. And before you know it, the fire is way out of control, and your life is just crazy. And you wonder, how did I possibly get here? And it started with one decision to go near that one little bitty fire, even though you knew that God was telling you not to do it.
And it's just like a lie.
Yeah, it's kind of like a lie. Sometimes a lie seems pretty innocent. But go ahead.
And I remember that Mom told us that if maybe her Bible was a fire eye, you cannot touch it. No, she didn't tell us that. Our mom said scratch around the bug. Not
all right, guys. Well, we have derailed, which I knew was a possibility, but that's okay. The point that we want you to walk away from tonight is that just like Noah was obedient, hold on, baby, let me finish, okay? Just like Noah did not understand, or maybe he did, we're not told, but maybe Noah didn't understand why God was calling him to build this big giant boat with all these specific dimensions. He still was faithfully obedient, and he did everything that God called him to do. And so tonight, that's what we want you to be encouraged with. So, guys, thank you for being here tonight. That is such a great story. I know, buddy. That's such a great story for us to learn from. Yes, baby. Hold on just a second, okay? That's such a great story for us to learn from. And I'm thankful that Will and Sadie, that is your favorite story. Now, before we leave tonight, before we sign off from Rock on Air, I want to talk about some of the clues that you had. So the first clue... Oh, what did you want to tell me? I'm sorry.
That was what I was going to tell you. Like, if you have a magnifying glass and you look down at the grass where the fire was, then you could see it very well. And then you were wrong.
It's true. She's got a point. I don't know. She's got a point. All right, so the clues we talked about pyros. I mean, I think everybody gets that one. Pyros is delicious. The second we talked about is that you guys have had the chance to travel to some pretty cool places. So, Will, what are a couple of cool places you've been? Maybe just two places you've been to.
One of the places, I went to Noah's Ark in Kentucky.
How about that? Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and it was a minifig. I think it was actually the size. I went there with my grandmother. We call her Jack, and with her friend. I call her Aunt Gail.
Aunt Gail, yeah. Okay, maybe one more place you've been to.
One more place.
Stop, Sadie.
I went to the Six Flags.
Six Flags
we
is
went
fun.
to Kentucky one time.
Well, that's where
what I
the
said.
ark is, yeah. So, Sadie, where's somewhere that really cool that you've been to? Do you know somewhere cool that you've been to? No? Well, she's been to some pretty cool places.
Yeah.
She's been to the zoo and
Six
she's been
Flags.
to Six Flags.
Yeah, and we went
She
to
was very
Nashville
small.
Zoo.
That's true.
You could pet a kangaroo.
That's true. So one last one is, Will, you said that you're an inventor. What's something you've invented before?
Well, I've invented a zip line. I connected bungees together. I connected it to something high and something low.
You did.
I held onto a broom, then I put the broom over it. Held on to the sides of the broom and slid. I was about to slide down, then y'all came in.
I was like, what are you doing? That's true, yeah, that was pretty neat. Okay, well, go ahead.
And then something else, I made a course.
Yeah, like an obstacle course.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's not like a course. No. So you have to throw a basketball.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it'd hit the car, it'd go down the green part of a roller, a
I
baby
didn't know
roller
that.
coaster, and then you connect it,
Okay.
the green part to the yellow part.
Very
Then
cool,
you,
yeah.
it'd go down to the slide and
Uh-huh.
jump up on the
Mhm.
orange part. Yeah, and
Very
then
cool.
knock down the city.
Very cool. Well, Sadie, you told me that you love gymnastics. So, what is one thing that you can do in gymnastics? You're going to show us? All right. Well, you missed it, so come this way. Come this way. You guys watch. Go ahead. Hey, look at that.
I can do
nice
something
cartwheel.
too.
Nice
What?
cartwheel. All right. Okay, Sadie, come sit back down for me. Well, guys, I think we are out of time. I think it's time for us to sign off tonight. But thanks to Will and Sadie for being here. If you see them, give them a giant high five. And we can't wait to see you same time, same place, right here next week, Rock on Air on YouTube. You guys are awesome. We miss you. See you soon.
Bye! Bye!
Lead me higher, and lift my eyes up to the light where I can see all the pain coming to an end.